What's up guys, JM here. Today we'll be covering the Priscilla Cheers For Me Entertainment Part side story. This side story will be safe for anime onlys. With that being said, let's get right into the side story. Well now, this is quite a collection of fools who think too highly of themselves. There was a woman who was concealing her face with a fan, looking down at the scene below her. Orange hair like the sun, gathered up with jeweled hairpins scattered through it, with her body wrapped in a blood-red dress that boldly exposed her shoulders and upper chest. Her blazing crimson eyes were looking down at a courtyard made out of stone, the event being held there and the madness of the participants. An exhibition match competing with martial arts. Well, what an impressive collection with people with too much time on their hands. The woman was getting quite bored watching these men fight to the death while wearing helmets and using rough weapons. While she was bored, one of the men noticed that she was looking down at them. All at once, all eyes were drawn to her. This didn't change how the woman felt as she opened her fan with a snap, while addressing the men. See that you all do your utmost. If you do that, perhaps these days that wear down your flesh and blood will be suitable for me to look upon. After hearing her words, the men erupted as the battle raged on. The woman's eyes remained entirely cold. We cut to an angry old man yelling at the woman. Priscilla, how many times have I told you? Showing your face in front of them is too strong of a shock. Just wait quietly in your room for the results. This is an event that I opened for myself. If I were to not observe it, how would the zeal of the commoners be rewarded? It would be the epitome of inelegance. Indeed, you should stop repeating yourself, you bucket of bones. Bucket of bones? Why you? What is it that you think I am to you? A husband who bought a concubine for gold, are you not? Quit making such a fuss over such little things, bucket of bones. It will put me in a bad mood, and you will be the one troubled by that the most. It makes no difference to me either way. The old man grit his teeth. He seemed to be around the age of 70, but stood straight for someone of his age and his movements were youthful. The woman who narrowed her gaze at the angry old man was none other than Priscilla Bariel. Priscilla and the old man's relationship had no traces of bonds or affection. It was entirely run on necessity. From the very beginning, I was opposed to this. You don't understand the importance of choosing a knight. The dignity of a knight is directly connected to the evaluation of his master's person. To choose that sort of critical follower in this sort of nonsense of all things, I will do exactly as I please. Do not forget that I have only joined in your plot because it does not go against my whims. Know that the flowering of your long-held ambition depends on each and every one of your words and actions catering to my mood. See that you do your utmost, commoner. The old man was Priscilla's husband, Lee Bariel, who held a key position in the kingdom of Lagunica. If one were to become the knight of his wife Priscilla, there was no question that they would be given exceptional benefits. After brushing off her husband, Priscilla returned to the window, looking down at the warriors. These men were either broke mercenaries or lacked the social status to become a knight. However, all of them were seeking the position of Priscilla's knight. It is quite an assembly of commoners indeed, but even with this many gathered, there is no one who would make my heart dance then. At this rate, perhaps no one will become my knight. Before she was about to give in to boredom and walk away, Priscilla stopped to check something that caught her eye. Hey now, if you cringe like that, someone could have their feelings hurt. Who? Me. Saying that, a man with one arm stood atop the stone stage, glaring down at the men around him. He was a man with an unusual outfit. His head was protected by a pitch-black full helmet that covered his entire face. Despite that, below the neck he was wrapped in a cheap-looking cape and finished off with light clothing on his upper and lower body. He also wore sandals, so he barely had any armor. In that case, does it mean he has great confidence in that one arm? A fully armored warrior began to close in on the one-armed man. In response to that, the man cracked the bones in his neck and lazily spoke. Oh, now you've gotten all serious. Just so you know, I'll cry if I lose. Interesting. Interesting. Now Priscilla was interested as she had a pleased look on her face. Leap started shaking his head. What do you mean interesting? Honestly, what are you thinking? You sent everyone that you had gathered, even the victor, and the only one left is that? Are you insane? I have no intention of getting absorbed into a meaningless debate about whether I am sane or mad. Who indeed has declared you to be sane? The correctness of my actions will be proven through their results. You should not waste my time with tedious words. Instead, hurry up and bring him to me. You little. Leap and Priscilla, I've brought him. I'll permit it. Enter. A youth in his early teens came into the room along with a one-armed man. When I'm suddenly called for by the higher-ups like this, an easily spooked guy like me gets a little nervous. It is my great honor to have been invited. Should I kneel, perhaps? I care not. There is no value in the empty posturings of the common rabble. Show me where your worth lies. If not for that, then there was no point in having called for you. What a scary lady. I hope I didn't come to the wrong place. You lout, how dare you speak to my wife like that? Bucket of bones. What? I'm in the middle of something. Do be quiet. Priscilla takes her fan and smacks Leap in the back of the head, knocking him out instantly. Priscilla turned to the boy butler and pointed at Leap. Take him away. The boy obeyed without any hesitation, and with that, the only ones left in the room were Priscilla and the man. Well then, at last that nuisance is out of the way. I'm not really in a position to point fingers, but isn't this a little too weird? You think you could do something to me? Don't think so highly of yourself, commoner. The only thing that can do anything to me is my own will. Nothing aside from that can have any effect on me at all. The man shook his head and let out a deep sigh. I surrender. This is way harder than I imagined. What can I show you that would make you approve of me, princess? Yes. Show me that you can survive. The moment after she finished speaking, she charged at the man with her fan. Priscilla blocked his vision with her fan and grabbed his sword. She then swung at the man's neck. This is really what they mean by getting away by the skin of your teeth. Priscilla had only managed to get a shallow scratch on the man's neck. Please spare me, princess. You're not gonna try that again, are ya? Be at ease. I have seen all I needed to with that one swing. Interesting indeed. Priscilla smiles and throws his sword back to him. But there's no way I can catch that. With a sharp noise, the tip of the sword tore through the room's carpet and buried itself into the floor. Look here, commoner. What sort of disrespect is that? What do you think you're doing to my carpet? Hey, it's not my fault. No matter how you think about it, it's you that went off like that, princess. Actually, how am I supposed to look at this? Can I pat myself on the back for meeting with your approval? As long as the interest you provide me continues to be more valuable than this carpet. Whether it's this moment just now, or your performance as a sideshow, your actions have value to the extent that they entertain me. And so, what do you mean by not removing your helmet even in my presence? I messed up a little, and now it's not a face that I can show to people. I wouldn't want to put you in a bad mood, so please put up with it. What's more, I haven't even introduced myself yet. Very well, I will allow it. Asking the name of a jester and placing it by my side is part of my generosity. Tell me your name. Aldebaran. My name is Aldebaran, princess. I would like you to just go with Al, basically, but I just wanted to give you my name properly. You are my master after all. It has a nice ring to it. You have a good name, Aldebaran, and I am generous. I will not ignore the first request from my attendant. I shall call you Al. Al lowered his head in gratitude. Priscilla sniffed softly, then as she watched Al pull his sword from the floor. After this, I will be throwing myself into a contest that will determine the course of this country. It is a contest whose outcome is already apparent, but the way will most likely be rough. Al, I command you to clear the way for me. I trust you have no objections? Ah, of course. That's the reason I rushed to your side like this. This world is designed to operate in the way that works best for me. That was the reason for the absolute self-confidence and self-esteem that the girl called Priscilla Bariel continued to carry. And that sums up the Priscilla's Cheers for Me entertainment part. That was a very interesting side story. It gives us more information about the Priscilla faction, which is the one we know the least about. It's also funny that Priscilla and Al's dynamic has not changed in the slightest from the main story. I don't think they've known each other for that long, as Priscilla mentions that she will be entering the royal selection soon. Also, I think Al is severely underrated. He's no Reinhardt, but he looks very strong since he kinda soloed a bunch of warriors. With that being said, thank you so much for the support as always. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.